Welcome today to the lovely Mrs. Ali Strawn. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. So tell me a bit about who you are and what you're doing.
Sure.
As if you haven't known me for years.
So I guess I am a writer, specifically a copywriter. Started off with a love of language and words and wrote a hell of a lot of fiction over many, many years. I think it's been a love of language that continued from high school. Was really garbage always at like analytical essay writing, but just loved the flair of, being able to create my own imaginary worlds. And yeah, just I think it's always been an instinctual thing for me, storytelling, no matter what form has come through. Lots of people don't know what copywriter means. They always think IP and legal stuff.
I was just about to clarify because I know what it is because of you. And I remember when you came over and my mum was like, copywriting, are you a lawyer?
Yeah. I think I've been doing this for 5 years and my brother only just figured it out. So she's not alone. So to explain what that means, it really is, if you look at the traditional newspapers and ad writing that we have in all the beautiful vintage posters they had back in the day, that writing is called copy. So when you talk about copywriting, you're talking about writing for advertising for different mediums. These days it's a lot about writing for the web, for digital platforms, for social media, for all sorts of things, video scripts and lots. So
anything that you read that is commercial in a commercial sense is copy.
Yeah. But I mean, in a creative sense, because a lot of my clients are artists and creatives, it's also a lot about explaining, their work. So bios and artist statements and, brochures and anything that really, I mean, these days we're all so close to our own projects that it's really hard to be objective when we're talking about and communicating what we do. I know as a business, I struggle to do that for myself. It's a universal challenge. But that's where I step in. Having that extra person who can take that outside in approach and communicate your strengths objectively is really important.
That's something that, like you just said, artists have a lot of trouble being able to explain what they do. So it's like if you ask an author, what genre do you write in? They either snap to and they're like, specifically these 3 words, or they waffle and they're like, oh, it's kind of this and it's kind of that and maybe a bit of this with this chucked in. And they just really don't understand that people are after just that one little snippet. And then it's the same with blogs. People aren't making their websites very SEO friendly because they're using a lot of different or flowery language that doesn't pertain to anything that they're trying to sell.
Yes. It definitely is an art, being able to be concise. We don't have a lot of time to read stuff online. We need to scan the copy that we're reading. We don't want big paragraphs. It's fatiguing for our brains. So being able to get to the point, say it succinctly, do it in a way that positions you really well is actually, it's a really important skill to learn. And I think everybody can learn it. It's just a matter of being able to, dedicate that time, which not everybody has. So that's important.
Yeah, it's definitely practice. And as you go on, you get better and better at it, as long as you know what you're analyzing. It's completely the opposite of writing a book. You can waffle for ages with a book and you can write your fiction and you can even write non-fiction in a very, very flowery and nearly ineffective tone that makes it just poetic. But you can't do that. You can't afford that when it comes to the internet, when everyone is just scanning.
Yeah, and there's definite time and place. I remember when I was writing a lot of fiction, I was concentrating. I spent a good 5 years, in my novel, just writing long, with the long goal in mind, with, obviously this story is going to go on for more than one book. And, that mindset is so different to even just switching back to short stories. I remember I tried to go back to short stories after a while and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I even doing?
There's a big difference in that. Like, short stories are very, very punctual. They're very to the point. and you don't waste words. I find a lot of uni students that have gone through creative writing courses have all learnt short stories really well. And then people who have the story that's destined to become something big have that long form within them.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't finish long form stuff. I get bored with it really quickly. And then I'm just like, nope, I need to go back to something short. I can do a chapter at a time, but I definitely can't do long form.
Yes, I think I haven't been in that long form headspace for so long that I would have to spend a lot of time getting back into it.
I think it takes giving yourself space often to
Yeah,
get back into it. You've got to give yourself space and time and let go of the I need to be really busy and I need to be doing all this other stuff. When you release that tension, then you can fall into the story is just right there and it's going to flow and all of it is going to flow.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It's so personal. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole creative process is a personal thing, and sometimes when you're saying before about when someone asks your genre, if you don't say, a specific genre or a crossover between two and you aren't really succinct with that, I think that's where people struggle with like that whole idea that they have to give so much information and context, whereas that art to bringing it back in again is, I guess, maybe that that's the problem with long storytelling, as far as planning it out in your head for so long, whereas short storytelling, whereas you're almost in a short story starting at the climax and then just working backwards and building back up to it.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
approach it in the same way when you're doing the same thing.
Yes, give the climax first and then come back to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very short ring. So what will you be speaking about at the Logan Writers Festival?
So I think my journey has taken a bit of a loop, and I'm really passionate about the creative community and giving them the wings to be able to, succeed. Specifically within the Logan region, we have a lot of amazing, amazing people here, beautiful, talented writers. I meet every time I go to an arts meeting with the chamber or with the gallery or with somebody else. I meet someone new. There's always fresh faces, and I think because we're such a vast region, we're all a little bit separate. We tend to go outside Logan to go and engage, and it's time to bring that in, and it's time to, I guess, give the tools to the creative community, but also to the outside vaster community, and work out how we can really empower everybody through connection after such a crazy pandemic, which still is affecting us day to day. It's really just about reimagining and retransformation, finding that transformation that's going to ignite our local creative community.
Wonderful.
Bring us together.
Absolutely. People don't realize, I think they're starting to realize, especially through any kind of pandemic issues, how important the arts are. That's what we lean on emotionally and psychologically through hard times. And things like schools are learning that by using play and by using art, kids learn better. Self-expression is always through art, whether it's through fashion or dance, through like etiquette or acting. All of these things are a form of art.
Yeah. It's such a vast thing, and I think we've all got a little bit of creativity in us, and even if we don't feel like we're creative ourselves, engaging with it in some sense just brings us all together, and I think that's an important part.
Excellent. It's going to be so exciting to have you talk at the festival, because your community building capabilities are just outstanding. So Ali has held concerts, and you've put together lots of different people. I feel like you're one of the most well-connected people I have ever met. And you seem to know where the threads of the art community need support. So for everyone who wants to learn more about the arts, through writing, through music, acting, visual arts, crafts as well. Ali is the person to speak to. So make sure you come down and have a chat with her at the Logan Writers Festival.
Yeah, come and have a chat. Come and tell me what your vision is, and we'll try and make it happen.
Oh, it'd be incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Nice and short and sweet, but I think it
Lovely.
really gets the point across.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's
You
brilliant.
are very welcome. It's always a pleasure. And we will see you on September 10th and 11th for your presentation at the Logan Writers Festival.
Lovely.
All right. Bye.
Bye.